Hi everyone, I have some more books to talk about that I want to read for the month of July. Um, these ones are for a readathon, so let's go ahead and start talking about these. Okay, so there are actually two readathons that I want to participate if I can and if I can get to any of the books. There's two I want to participate in for the month of July. The first one is called Summertime Reads Readathon. This is hosted by Melanie, Julie, Kaylani, and Clint. There are two group books and a total of 12 prompts, although two of the prompts aren't book related. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do things, well, I was going to say I'll do things backward, but I don't know. I've already got the books arranged for chronological order as far as how the prompts go, like prompt 1, prompt 2, etc. Not in the order that I'll read them. Let's go ahead and get into this. Okay, so I'll mention the group books at the end because those deal with one of the prompts. So prompt number 1 is Continued Pride. Read a book with an LGBTQ plus main character. Now this one, I am not 100% positive. It's a classic. It's a classic book. And I really have not heard much about it. Obviously, I've never read it because I don't know if this fully and actually fits the prompt. I am going with yes, because some of the reviews that I looked at mentioned that this was LGBTQIA+, or has that rep in it, with one of the two main characters. So I am going with that, although I thought they were sisters, and that's the description that I got, like actual blood from the same parents' sisters. But several reviews say it's actually LGBTQ, and one of the first lesbian romances. So I don't know for sure. I'm going with it because of the reviews, and that's why I selected it. So, and I really want to get to it. So this is The Color Purple by Alice Walker. So my understanding is that the two main characters are actually sisters. Now, I don't know if they're sisters as in the sense that we're all brothers and sisters. And so it is I think sapphic is the right word, where it's a lesbian romance. But I am under the impression that it's like blood-related sisters. So unless there's maybe incest, I don't know. So we'll see. So The Color Purple, let's see. I really don't know. Is this a story of two sisters? Maybe these are two sisters that aren't sisters to each other. I don't know. It says one's a missionary in Africa and the other a child wife living in the South, who sustain their loyalty to and trust in each other across time, distance, and silence. And I think this is mostly told in letters. Dear Nettie. Dear Celie, Dear God, that's in there quite a bit that I'm seeing. So letters to God as well as to each other. So I mean, it looks like it is literally all letters. So I think that'll be interesting, and I'm looking forward to getting to it. I'm a little intimidated because it's a classic and I have no idea really what to expect, and what I was thinking it was turned out may not to be the other. I don't like that when I'm going in thinking and expecting one thing and I'm thrown completely off of the course right off the bat. I mean, if it's one thing if there's plot twists, but if the summary is good, then you have a general idea of the very basic of the basic. But where I'm thinking the relationship is between two sisters and not two lovers, be it reviews I see indicate that it's actually two lovers. That's kind of what I'm not liking, is that if it is between two lovers, I wish the plot would say it's between two lovers. Because I would have the same issue if it was saying it was two lovers, but it turns out they're two sisters. So, yeah, we'll see. Okay, so prompt, I have all the prompts written down, so I am going to be looking down quite a bit. Prompt number 2 is to read a book. Oh, is summer job. Read a book over 400 pages. So for this one, I am going with an ebook, and I will be reading Graceling by Kristen Kishore. This is also a book that I'll be reading, trying to read for like the Graceling along. I mentioned this book in another series. I'm going to pull it up on Goodreads because I don't know what it's about, and I noticed when I was editing the video, previous video, that's now up, I didn't say what Graceling was about. So I'm going to describe it now. So I think it's either 4 or 5. It says there's 5 primary works. It looks like the 5th one has no release date, no title, no cover. So we don't know really anything about it. But I do know there's 4 books out right now. I don't know anything about the 5th one. So Graceling, this is by Kristen Kishore. I think I said that. Anyway, let's see. Katza has been able to kill a man with her bare hands since she was 8. She's a Graceling, one of the rare people in her land born with an extreme skill. As niece of the king, she would be able to live a life of privilege, but graced as she is with killing, she is forced to work as the king's thug. And that's all I want to read about that, because I just don't want to risk getting spoilers. So, and I've noticed that when I read the synopsis or the plot summary on the back of a book or in the flap, I don't read the whole thing. I generally read just the first paragraph or the first couple of sentences. That gives me a very basic idea, and then I'm pleasantly surprised and hopefully not spoiled for anything, because sometimes they do spoil things. So, okay, book number 3, or prompt number 3, is Lazy Days at the Beach. Read a beach read. So this one will be another ebook, and I will be reading Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now, I have never read anything by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've never read anything by this author before. So for this one, because I really don't know, I mean, I really like the cover because I love books that take place on, near, or in water. So this already has me very intrigued. Plus, it looks like it's historical fiction. Yeah, it's historical fiction. It looks like it's also considered romance and chick lit. So, and those are further behind. So I'm just going to read the first couple of lines. It says, Malibu, August 1983. That's the year I was born. But this takes place before I was born. Anyway, Malibu, August 1983. It's the day of Nina Riva's annual end of summer party, and anticipation is at fever pitch. Everyone wants to be around the famous Rivas. Nina, the talented surfer and supermodel, brothers Jay and Hud, one a championship surfer, the other a renowned photographer, and their adored baby sister Kit. Together, the siblings are a source of fascination in Malibu and the world over, especially as the offspring of the legendary singer Mick Riva. So, I know I've heard about Daisy Jones and the Six, where it felt like it was written in such a way that it made the characters seem realistic and that it was actually like a nonfiction. And so a lot of people were like, had to kind of keep reminding themselves that it was an actual fiction and nothing here was really real. It may have been based on some real events, but it's not real. I get the feeling that's probably going to be the case with Malibu Rising. And I can easily be duped into thinking that something's real when it's not for something like that. So hopefully that's not the case, and I'll just remember it's a fictional book. Okay, let's go on. Prompt number 4 is get a tan. Read something that is going to make you hot, steamy, angry. I think a lot of people will think steamy like a very steamy romance. I don't like the steamy. I've said that before. I don't really want to read a book that's going to make me angry. I just don't want to do that. So my thinking is to do a reread of a book that gets me excited because of the vampire. It's vampires. So I am going to reread Twilight. So we're following the perspective of Bella Swan. In case you've never read Twilight, we are following the perspective of Bella Swan. She moves from Phoenix, Arizona to Forks, Washington. So completely different weather, atmosphere things. So from sunny Arizona to rainy Washington, which I would love to live in a place that's rains most of the time because I love the rain. Anyway, she meets Edward Cullen and basically ends up meeting the whole Cullen family, but they are vampires, and one of the things is they sparkle in the light, and so they stay, when it's actually sunny, they pretty much stay out of the public eye. So anyway, a vampire romance love story. Yes. Okay, prompt number 5. Travel abroad. Read a book set in a country other than your own. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to be reading a historical fiction. And this takes place in August of 1939 and takes place in London, and we're following Grace Bennet. And that is the last bookshop in London. So Grace moves to London. She's expecting one sort of atmosphere, but she ends up things being different because this is at the height of Hitler's power. Air raids and blitzes are in full force, and she ends up in this dusty old bookshop that's nestled in the heart of London, it says. So through all the blackouts and air raids, she has found that stories can have a very calming and soothing effect on people, and is also a way to unite people and help people get through things. So I think that'll be an interesting read. It's a book basically about books, or stories anyway. So, and I live in America, so this definitely does not take place in my home country. All right, time for prompt number 6. So prompt number 6 is off to summer camp. Read a book with an outdoor setting. Okay, so I decided to go with Some Kind of Happiness by Claire Legrand. This one, I don't remember if a divorce is involved. For some reason that keeps popping up. But anyway, let's see. Finley it says her 2 parents are having problems, but they pretend they're not. That's probably where I'm getting the divorce vibe, although that's not always the case. So she is sent to her grandparents' house for the summer, and behind her grandparents' house is this forest. And it turns out that it is the same forest that's written in her notebook, which is called Everwood. And Everwood is in trouble. So it's going to take place mostly in this forest. And I get the vibe that, let's see, it says reality and fantasy start to collide. She realizes that if she wants to save Everwood, she'll have to save herself first. So there's a lot of saving involved and reconciliation, hopefully, and things like that. But I think this sounds like a sweet book. Prompt number 7, Backyard Barbecue. Read a book with food on the cover. Okay, so I did have a thought for one, but I think I put it on a completely different prompt because I was surprised that I didn't write that down for this one. Anyway, because there is another readathon I want to do, and I'll do a separate video for that. Okay, so read a book, Backyard Barbecue, read a book with food on the cover. I'm going to go with a cozy mystery for this one. Most cozy mysteries have animals on the cover, and quite a few have food on the cover. This one is Murder, She Knit by Peggy Earhart, and this one has a cake right smack in the center, a slice of cake right on the cover. So this counts. It's the first in a new series. It says Pamela is hosting the next Knit and Nibble meeting and can't wait to liven up her otherwise empty home with colorful yarn, baking, and a little harmless gossip. She even recruits Amy Morgan, an old friend who recently moved to town, as the group's newest member. But on the night of the gathering, Amy doesn't show. Not until Pamela finds the woman dead outside, a knitting needle stabbed through the front of her handmade sweater. So, murder, obviously, someone's going to be framed that Pamela thinks shouldn't be framed, whether it's her or someone close to her. and she's got to prove innocence or try and figure out what's going on because she doesn't think the police are going to do it. That's generally the vibe of cozy mysteries. So there you go. Okay, prompt number 8. Summertime sunsets. Read a book with red, orange, and or yellow on the cover. So it can be one of those 3 colors, combination of the 3 colors in either way. So again, red, orange, and or yellow. The book I'm selecting actually has all 3 colors, and that is City of Rust, and this is by Gemma Fowler. So I think it's pronounced Rayleigh. I don't know, but it's spelled like Riley, but with an A in there, but I don't know if the A is silent. Anyway, Rayleigh. This book kind of gives me Star Wars vibes because of the, what did they call it? I want to say dune races. Her chances crushed. Drone. That's why. It's a drone race. And I just think of the scene in Star Wars where it's Anakin Skywalker, I think, as a boy, doing the drone races, and he does so much better than people think. Anyway, on the back it says that she does lose, and she goes into outer space, and basically I think there's this trash bomb that can explode and kill a ton of people, and so she's going to try and stop the bomb from going off to save people. So, and she has a pet gecko who is actually a robot. So it's a robot pet gecko. And that's an interesting take because I've never seen anything about a robot pet. It's usually like an actual, I'll hit myself in the head, an actual device or a human. So, okay, last 2 prompts that are like prompts for an actual book. So number 9. Late night fireworks. I really don't like fireworks. They're beautiful, but I hate the noise. 4th of July is so hard for me. And then in July in Utah, we also have Pioneer Day, which a lot of fireworks go off for that too. So those are like the 2 least favorite days of the year. Well, that New Year's, because fireworks then too. So I really don't like the sound that, anyway, it's going to be hard nights. And it's already starting. People are already letting off fireworks, even though we're in a massive drought right now. Go figure. Okay, late night fireworks. Read a book that you were excited about. Okay, so for this one, I have heard so many people love this manga series. And I have really started enjoying manga. I read Death Note, and I read the books by, I want to say it was Junjun Ito, who did I think it was like Uzumaki, and I can't remember the other ones. It's like one where things come out of the water and they're dead fish, and it's a lot of body horror, which I like the body horror. Anyway, so this is another manga. This is the first in the series, and that is Tokyo Ghoul, and this is by Sui Ishida. I don't really know much about this. I think this guy is like some sort of a ghoul. Obviously, it says ghoul. It says, so I'm going to read, ghouls live among us, the same as normal people in every way, except for their craving for human flesh. So I take it that he's a ghoul, and we'll just go from there. It says he's thrilled to go on a date with beautiful Rise, but it turns out that she's only interested in his body, in eating it, that is. So, I mean, I'm already intrigued. One, it's a manga, and I want to get more into manga and graphic novels, but I love, I love vampires. I also really like werewolves, but I also really like zombies. So I like a lot of monsters. And so the fact that these are zombie-like characters, I am already excited about. It would only be better if they were like vampires, but I really do like zombies about as much as werewolves. They're like second on the tier. Actually, I think I like zombies more than werewolves. Anyway, and then it says, a morbidly dubious rescue transforms him into the first half-human, half-ghoul hybrid. So that's interesting. So you have humans, and you have ghouls, and now you have Kaneki, who is half human, half zombie, and we'll follow his life. So that sounds good, and I am excited. Alrighty, the last book prompt. Summer Fling, short and sweet. Read a book under 200 pages. Okay, this one I do not really know anything about. I have it because I like the Penguin cloth-bound hardback editions of classics. So I got it because it's one of those. But that is The Pearl by John Steinbeck. I have not read anything by John Steinbeck before. And this is short. It is under 200 pages. It's less than 100 pages. So that definitely fits the prompt. But again, I don't really know what this is about. So let me look this up on Goodreads so I can at least give you some kind of an idea of what this is about. Okay, so I'm just going to read this synopsis. It says, like his father and grandfather before him, Kino is a poor diver, gathering pearls from the Gulf beds that once brought great wealth to the kings of Spain and now provide Kino, Juana, and their infant son with meager subsistence. Then one day, like any other, Kino emerges from the sea with a pearl as large as a seagull's egg, as perfect as the moon. With the pearl comes hope, the promise of comfort and security. A story of classic simplicity based on a Mexican folktale, the pearl explores the secrets of man's nature, greed, the darkest depths of evil, and the luminous possibilities of love. That's a lot to cover in a book that's less than 100 pages, so we'll see how that does. Again, I've never read any Steinbeck before, so we'll see if I like this and want to read more of his work. I'm sure there is more. So that's all the book related prompts. So I have 8 plus the 2 on my Kindle for these prompts. Yeah, so there's those ones. These are just the book related prompts, and that's what I'll be trying to get to. We'll see if I can get to any of them. But it just depends on how my regular TBR goes, as well as there's also book clubs that I want to try and participate in. So there's a lot of books I'm going to want to read. So 2 other prompts for this that are not, well, one is kind of a book related one. So prompt number 11. It's not book related. It says, in honor of Kaylin's 24th birthday, join us for a 24 and 48 July readathon, basically, July 17th through the 18th, with live reading sprints on each of their channels. So I think it's to try and read 24 hours within 48 hours. I have work, so I can tell you, I'm not going to be hitting that 24-hour mark. Plus, I have to get my sleep. So, yeah, that's that one. This other one is kind of book related, and it's End of Summer Bonfire. Read one or both of the group books. So there are 2 group books, and I have them both on my reader. The first group book is part of, right now it's just a duology. I don't know if a third one is going to be coming out. But it is Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angelis. And let's see, this is a YA fantasy romance with magic, retelling, mystery, high fantasy. So, I mean, I'm already intrigued. Yeah. So this one says, in a city covered in ice and ruin, a group of magicians face off in a daring game with magical feats to find the next headliner of the conquering circus, only to find themselves under the threat of an unseen danger striking behind the scenes. And each act becomes more and more risky. So there's that one. And so that's an option for one of the group reads. You don't have to read both of these. You can, or just one or the other. Even then, obviously, if you can read them, great. If not, whatever. Group book number 2 is called The Serpent King by Jeff Zentner. I don't know. Anyway, so The Serpent King, and this is a YA contemporary realistic fiction romance It also says religion is a tag according to Goodreads. So I really don't know anything about this. Let's see. Dill has had to wrestle with vipers his whole life. At home, as the only son of a Pentecostal minister who urges him to handle poisonous rattlesnakes, and at school, where he faces down bullies who target him for his father's extreme faith and very public fall from grace. The only antidote to all this venom is his friendship with fellow outcasts Travis and Lydia. And then it says, so they're starting their senior year, and it says Dill feels the coils of his future tightening around him. So, obviously coming of age, obviously again YA because it states it, and they're a senior in high school. So I think that'll be interesting. It sounds good. I hope to get to both of them, but that's a lot of hoping for the month of July. So we'll see. Although the actual holiday when fireworks are going to be going off till probably about midnight, I'll probably get quite a bit of reading done because I will just lay in bed, window closed, and I'll have some noise canceling headphones on to try and block out the sound of the fireworks. So, although some people will be letting off the aerial ones that will be close enough to the house, they'll rattle the windows, and that's a whole nother issue. So I'm not looking forward to this. Anyway, and it's on a weekend. So although it's Independence Day is on a Sunday, so where people have work the next day, hopefully it will not be as bad as it has been in years past. So here's hoping. So that is for the, I just forgot the name. Oh, Summertime Reads Readathon. So, and I will put the Twitter and handle in the description box, as well as if they have a YouTube channel, I'll link that below for the hosts. If they don't, I'll try and link either their Twitter handle or their Instagram handle, something. There will be linked to each host. So I'll have that below, as well as my social media information if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Twitter, Goodreads, Instagram. So there's that. And let me know if you're going to be participating in this readathon and what you're planning to read for some of the prompts. I think that'll be fun to know. If you've read any of these, definitely let me know what you thought of them. And especially about the color purple. I'm very interested to know if that is actually a romance between two females or if it is just two sisters. Anyway, I guess I'll find out when I read it. So anyway, that's everything for this video. So until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I will talk to you later.